Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's time for a wonderful new episode. I almost forgot what I used to say. Wonderful new episode of the
Bert
Podcast. Bert, how are you?
Bill, I am doing great. I've had a great last 2 weeks, and I was not having great shit. This whole fucking I've had a run of bad luck and anxiety and whatnot. Leanne fell, her teeth went through her lip. We had to put our dog down. It's been crappy, but this last 2 weeks has been really awesome, Bill. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you were crushing it out there you put on a brave face. The show must go on. You were out there at the drive-ins.
Yeah, it was good.
Waving the flag, the comedy flag.
The cabin did well. I was really proud of that. I was really happy for that. Thank you, Bill, for your participation.
Thank you for the coffee mug and the sexy magnet.
Of course. And the best is Leanne goes, I was telling this story to someone the other day. They go, is Bill like a private person? I said, very private. And they're like, well, you like how private? And I said, we went to go to an XFL game one time, and he gave me the wrong address because he knew the second he gave me the right one, I'd Zillow it, and I'd probably put it online. And they go, what? And I said, I went up to his neighbor's house. Bill comes out his front door. He goes, nah, over here. That might be one of my favorite fucking Bill Burr stories.
And we had a great time. Who even remembers the XFL? That's a great sports story. We went to that thing.
Yeah.
We saw the Dallas Outlaws play the LA. There was something you were going, row. What were they? Oh, my God. Cougars?
No, it couldn't be Cougars. That's too on the nose.
The Trophy Wives. Who did they play?
The Turkey Basters. I don't know. I forget who they were. God, that's
it was the
crazy.
Renegades.
I can't remember. What?
It was the Renegades.
Okay, the Dallas Renegades versus the LA.
Wow.
Yeah, you were doing something.
Wildcats?
Yes, Wildcats.
Wildcats. There we go. That's such a generic animal name. Wildcat. What do we?
Is that just a coverall like a vermin? Or like a rodent?
Varmint.
Varmint.
The Vegas Varmints. Should have been that.
Yeah, that was great. And to think that, like, just on the smallest molecular level, there was a guy who got a chance to play in the XFL, sat to his chick and said, honey, this is it. This is my big break. I'm getting in the XFL. I'm going to shine, and I'm going to the NFL. And then all that's just taken away from him, too. Like, I think of all the small things taken away from people during this pandemic. And, like, those are the little ones, you know, where you go, well, I guess I'll never be a NFL star or whatever. But that's fucking just a chance of another fun thing to do on Sundays, you know?
It was a good time, and there was some cool helmets. That Renegades helmet was on point. I liked it. Although some people are like, oh, they ripped off the fucking CFL. Shakespeare did it back in 1600. All right, can I enjoy something? I'll tell you who's enjoying something right now with the Buffalo Bill fans jumping around like they beat the New England Patriots. I couldn't believe when they go, oh, they finally got a ban. It's like half our team opted out because of COVID and Tom Brady's gone. Yeah, I hope you can win a home game. And they're sitting there talking about, 8 years, they finally, My buddy just told me on ESPN, the radio, some idiot over there was saying, I think we finally solved the Belichick versus Brady debate. How dumb.
Half of their team got sick.
No, that people like opted out and shit.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, look, the Buffalo Bills beat us, but don't act like you finally beat Brady. Brady had to go to Tampa.
Yeah.
He had to go to Tampa, and there had to be a pandemic. And you got yourself a win. Let's say what it is here.
God, that's crazy. It's crazy that virus hasn't just rapidly spread through the NFL, more so than it has, That it hasn't just.
You do what the fucking scientists say.
Yeah, but those kids playing ball are legit, like, would spread the virus quicker than everyone, So it's crazy that it hasn't gotten.
How so?
Meaning, like you say, Cam Newton has it, right? Everyone
He did have it.
Yeah. But you'd think everyone that tackled him should definitely have it. Everyone in his huddle should definitely have it. Everyone,
I see what you're saying.
like like you just the idea of huddling up with people and him breathing and saying like you'd think
The contact sport is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like it's amazing that it hasn't spread more rapidly through the NFL.
No, it is.
And the
Well,
college.
I don't think it's that difficult to control if people just do what the smart people tell us to do. But they're choosing not to. So here we are. It's under control. It's under control.
I was in
Under control.
Joplin, Missouri, outside my bus, and we parked it right next to a big restaurant, and it was the type of restaurant that not that my fans would go to, but people that would go to would see a bus, Google it, and go make my picture next to that bus. And so when I walked out, some guy's like, "Oh shit, that's him," comes running up, and he's like, "Hey Bert, make my picture with you." And I was like, "Oh, I got to do it distant." And he goes, "Oh, you're not one of those virus believers, are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean believers? Like, you're telling me you don't believe in it?"
It's nuts. It's fucking
crazy.
nuts. It's just it's the internet, dude. I've been doing this bit in my act about how they should get rid of it, or they should at least have it be like the library, where there's a fiction and a nonfiction section. The problem is it's all presented as nonfiction. And if you're an idiot, you're going to go on the internet and that's what you're going to come up. Because I'm an idiot. Some of the things, because what you do is you want to be right. Just Google, is COVID real? You're going to get the answers you want.
Yeah.
I don't think there's too many scientists that are taking time out right now to be like, yes, this is real. They're trying to cure it. So
it seems like
why do they not think it's true? Even their guy got it. It's the most fascinating fucking thing.
I think they
in a while, considering you could die from it. It's amazing.
This is my hill to die on right here. Is we have friends that are liberal, progressive liberal, hate Trump, never would listen to a conversation about Trump, might actually disown you, and have said nasty things to me. I don't support Trump, but because I travel in the middle of the country and I play to people that probably like Trump.
You go on stage without a shirt.
Yeah.
You're a Trumper.
Fuck off.
That's all those liberals need to see, Burr.
Oh, Bill.
And they can you're a white male with your shirt off, doing a show to drive in, you're a Trumper.
That's probably what they see. But they don't wear masks. They don't follow the rules. They don't socially distance. They're going to parties. We're white. We're wealthy. We can't get it. Let's all hang out. Fuck that. It's all we need is a little bit of vitamin D. I have a real problem.
Wait, so are you going to these parties?
No, not at all. I mean,
how do you know this is happening? You got pictures of it?
I can't really get too into details, but let's just say.
I knew there was a story.
I'd light people up, but like it bothers me because like I'll give you another example. There's a young lady who is very progressive left who's dating a friend of mine, and said, "I can't wait. I got a big Halloween party I'm going to." And I said to my friend, "Oh, is she doesn't believe in the virus?" And he goes, "What?" I said, "She must not believe it. Is she voted for Trump?" He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, she's behaving like the people she says she hates. She's behaving identical to them. She's going to a Halloween party. She's going to hang out, drink."
Oh, Bert, you don't get it. She lives near an ocean. Her friends are progressive. They're smarter. When they do it, it's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm fucking losing my shit about. It's like, if you were going to mock that dude who came up and said, "Make my picture," you're not one of those virus believers. If you're going to mock him, then you better wear a fucking mask anytime you step outside your house.
No, but Bert, did that surprise you? The super hardcore left is one of the most judgmental. They're just as judgmental as what they hate. They will judge you skin color, sex, sexual orientation, race, the whole thing. Write down the whole checklist, and it's okay because they feel the way that they're doing it is right. It's the whole thing is fascinating. And if there was just more people out there that could admit that they're stupid, like, I feel that's one of my strong points.
Hey, you've been saying you're
knowing
stupid
that
for
I'm a
long
fucking
time.
idiot, you know, that it's like, I'm going to listen to these guys that are in the league. The CDC, they made it to the NFL of scientists, top level, Heisman Trophy winners. I'm going to listen to what the fuck they say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to people who played high school football or took an IPS class or went on the fucking internet until. So I don't.
My wife. There's, we're building a house right now, and these guys are working in the room trying to get the lights on. And last night we did a socially distanced outdoor movie night with friends, like watch a scary movie, Beetlejuice. Mm-hmm. So it drives me nuts. Is Leanne goes, hey, why don't you guys go in the room and see what they're doing, or like see the room they're building? And I said, hey, they're working in there. That's super disrespectful for you to invite other people into a room where people happen to be they're working. They don't have a right to say no. And she was like, what do you mean? And I went, there's a fucking virus out there. And then I start going, am I crazy? Like, maybe I should just ignore it also. Like, maybe I'm following the rules too hard.
Whatever, do whatever you want to do. All I know is come Tuesday, Bert, there's a bunch of Karens that got to go out and vote for Fire Marshal Bill's grandfather. That's our choice.
Oh.
Fire Marshal Bill's grandfather, or we stick with the orange cunt.
Oh my God. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Democrats.
Hold on. Let's get this clean, Bill, because this is going viral. Bill, what do you think is going to happen this November 3rd in the election?
I think Trump's going to win it again, and I think the Democratic Party threw the election on purpose because all they needed was a 45-year-old dude with a full head of hair, and they would have trounced the guy.
Yeah.
I think the dollar's about ready to collapse, and the Democrats do not want to be steering the ship when it goes down.
So you think this is a game of
Fire Marshal Bill looking guy to come out there. And, with all of his issues and all of that, I don't know. My thing, I don't have a political party, but I'm not into overt racism and people that race bait. I think it's the most cowardly thing you could possibly do. And with all the information out there, it's astounding that it still works. And, as much as no matter who you vote for, they're going to work for the banks and the oil companies. It would be nice to not have the Grinch. Be nice if somebody had a little bit of a heart, do something. So we shall see. I hope he doesn't win. So
you think
I think that there's I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't want to talk about this stuff. Look, I'm a white guy, so I'll be fine. But like the amount of pain that people who aren't white are experiencing with this, it's just not cool. It's just like why would you want to do more of that? It's just weird to me.
I wish that.
Why did you make me say something political, Bert? I don't do that shit. I try not to. I just try to make fun of everybody. But now I feel like I'm going to have an influence either way. I don't want to fucking influence it.
It's interesting that people say, all these people are getting up there and being like, hey, make sure to get out and vote on Tuesday. And that assuming that everyone that's getting that message is voting for the person they want. Like, it's so crazy that you see, like, especially like our comic friends are like, it's so important to get out and vote. And you're like, hold on. Your fan base is pretty broad. They may not be voting for who you think so. Like, I think I might do more good by going.
Yeah, there's two layers to it. It's also like, if you don't vote, you can't bitch about what's going on. And you should be informed, which I'm not. So there is that. But then the other thing is they want you to go out and vote for who they want you to vote for. And I don't know. I mean,
it would be
the worst thing, dude. The worst thing are those friggin' propositions. I mean, each ad just convinces you. It's always just like, hey, let's put a new water fountain in. Then somebody's like, I won't be able to get dialysis and I'm going to die. And you're just like, what the fuck? What do you do?
We're doing it tonight.
I don't understand why they just can't word it like so you can understand it. They always word it where like no means yes, yes means no, or there's something fucking attached to it that's not in the paragraph. I don't get any of that. You okay, Bert? Or did
Yeah. No, I was gonna say we're doing.
I don't want to talk politics, dude. I fucking hate talking politics.
Hey, listen, you motherfucker! I've tried to say the same sentence 4 times. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ! And then when I gave you time, you're like, "What, Bert? We're not talking." I was going to do it again, and you cut me off again.
Well, just tell me to shut up.
So tonight, me and the girls are going. Me and Leanne are voting by mail tonight. We're putting our write-in votes. So tonight, we're sitting with the girls. We're going through the propositions, and we're going to talk them out with our daughters and see what they think. And so I don't know anything about those propositions. They're confusing as fuck. The dialysis one, you're like, should there be a doctor or should there not be a doctor? It seems like both people have an argument for why there should or should not be a doctor. And you're like, well, fuck. Why do I make the decision? You know?
That fucking Uber driver thing?
What's the Uber driver one?
I don't even know. It's just like, hey, I'm an independent contractor. I'd like to keep being able to make a little bit of extra money. We need to do this or else serial killers will fucking... I don't know what it is. You know what I did? I called a good buddy of mine who knows everything about politics, and he gave me the answer to the test.
Who, Vince Vaughn?
No.
DeRosa?
DeRosa doesn't even vote.
So if they said
No,
Bill,
I have a friend of mine that like literally pays attention to politics like the way I watch sports.
Yeah, Dave Anthony. Dave Anthony knows. Let me tell you something. I did a show with Dave Anthony right before the pandemic. Literally right before they were shutting shit down. I did a live dollop. And Dave Anthony said, Bert, this is going to get very real. And I went, Dave, it's not. He goes, no, they're going to shut down our country. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Chicken Little. Like, fucking take a breath. I'm been sitting there having beers, and Dave's socially distancing at the time. And I'm like, fucking seriously, Dave? And he goes, I don't know, man. Have you been flying? I was like, I just landed. And he was like, I'm telling you, man, this is going to be very real. I'm saying like 3 days later, they shut down the fucking country. And I swear to God, whatever Dave Anthony says, I fucking listen to.
Dude, I had an acting gig, and this woman on set goes, I think this is different. I'm like, it's like SARS. It'll be fine. She texted me for 3 months of this, the first 3 months. And I was like, all right. You were right.
There's a comic, a female, I say female only because I can't remember her name right now. Andy is her name, but I can't remember her last name. And she texted me, Bill, I talked about this another time, but it's so fucking eerie. Listen to what she texted me on what date, and you'll go, whoa. Let's see, Andy with an I.
Andy with a Y.
Search older messages. Here we go. Andy, you ready for this, Bill?
Yeah. This
is
a world
March 15th, okay? March 15th. Is that March 15th? No, this is February 15th. February 15th, okay? She writes, hi, it's me again. I've been Google translating this shit out of this virus situation for weeks. And please stop traveling. Tell everyone to stop traveling. I know. You're probably thinking, come the fuck on. Are we really going to wait until they tell us to stay off the streets? Then it will be too late, right? Honestly, everyone should just call in sick Tuesday. What are they going to do? Suit up, fella. Come on over and let's see if I'm lying. It's genius, really. It's probably the most American protesting thing we could ever do is just don't go to work and save our lives. And probably the last chance to legally shift power. This is in fucking February. She was Google translating these seriously, stay the fuck home. Learn to knit yourself a face mask. This is in fucking February. I wish we could just get everyone to stay home for a week, just jump their gun and save our lives. Fuck. And then I wrote on March 16th, wow, you were right. And she goes, I know I was right. And then she told me to buy a bunch of fucking allergy medicines that were going to save the virus. I think she's a funny fucking comic too. Andy Smith.
Well, there you go. There you go. Some people know. But let's
Yeah.
talk football, man.
Let's talk football.
Let's talk football. How somebody on ESPN evidently said that they've solved the Brady-Belichick debate somehow in the end of October. And it's like, wouldn't Tampa have to go and win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Not win just some regular season games. I mean, it's so dumb. Bill Walsh and Joe Montana together versus them not together. It's it's like
What did Montana do for the Chiefs?
David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen together, them separate. I mean, it's just.
So you're saying theoretically that if Brady goes off and wins the Super Bowl for the Bucs, then it was Brady.
No.
What are you saying?
It's asinine.
Yeah.
That's no,
it's not asinine because when you say Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth, I say together they were great. Apart, I did not enjoy Sammy Hagar when he was with Van Halen.
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's not like they were bad. It's just it's not as good.
Right.
You got the recipe perfect, and then you go on your run, and then you go your separate ways, and then you continue to do well or whatever. But look, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
He just is. He just is. And if you take the biggest bullet out of their gun, is going to be hurt for a little bit before they get it going again. And Tom Brady, as great as he is, it's like you're going to be at the mercy of your coaching staff. And they're not as good as what he's had in New England. Just because their record is better, he's the greatest quarterback of all time, and Belichick is the greatest coach. And when they go their separate ways, there's going to be some suffering.
Tell me if you can, I don't know if the right answer to this, but what makes a good coach? Is it play calling? Is it allowing the player to be independent? What makes a good coach? What makes Belichick, other than the fact that he coached with Lawrence Taylor, he's coached fucking.
No, people don't understand that. It's like Bill Parcells never won a Super Bowl without him. And he won in 86 and he won in 90. And he shut down John Elway in that high-powered offense. He shut down with a run-and-gun Buffalo Bills. He shut down the greatest show on turf. He has beaten the greatest offenses of the last 30 years. That first group of 3 Super Bowls that we won, we used to win games like 17-13. We didn't become like the crazy offense until Randy Moss came in. And then that's when it started to become that. And I just think for the duration that he did it, because what happens is if you come up with something new, okay, and what that you're doing is working, everybody is stealing from it. So what happens is eventually the NFL catches up with you. And if you don't keep adjusting, which is really hard, it goes past you. It's like Don Shula. Dan Marino. By the time Dan Marino got with Don Shula, everybody had caught up with them. I feel.
Can you just, because I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand.
I would say the West Coast offense.
Right. Okay,
West Coast offense was developed under Paul Brown and Bill Walsh in Cincinnati. And the reason why they did it was because I forget the kid's name, but they had this quarterback that just had an arm like you dream about. And Bill Walsh, to the end of his life, said this guy would have been the greatest ever. But he fucked it up. I think it was a rotator cuff issue. They didn't know how to deal with it. So his arm strength was weak. So they developed this offense, these short, quick passes going down the field, which was the advent of the West Coast offense. And with that, it's a whole long soap opera how Paul Brown passed over him. He said he was a head case. He had to go to Stanford to reprove himself. Then he gets back to San Francisco and takes that offense, gets a guy named Joe Montana. And Joe Montana is built the way he's built, and Bill Walsh has the mind that he has.
Yeah.
Okay? And then these guys start going on this run. They win in 81, okay, whatever. They do it again in 84. And then everybody's catching up with them. Then they do it in 88 and 89. And then everybody goes, well, Seifert was 89. But then everybody is just going to go and steal it. Like the Colts, the Baltimore Colts. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts, who can totally fucking bitch about the Patriots. Every fucking year we would beat them. literally went in and stole our offense and beat us with it and went on to win a fucking Super Bowl in 2006, I think it was. That was our offense. That's what was fucking. Our defense was beating them, but Jim Irsay sat on the competition committee. The way we were covering his receivers, they made a video saying that was cheating, right? The NFL goes, no, it isn't. They made a video. They bitched about it. So then he sat on the competition committee, and then all of a sudden that sort of coverage on receivers was no longer legal, and then they took our offense, and then they beat us in the playoffs.
Is that like
that
Buddy
type of
Ryan
shit?
with
But Belichick doesn't stop there and go, okay, they know what we're doing. I guess my time is done. He continues to improve on what it is that he does. I watched the game. I mean, I'm not a head coach who I can't literally break down the styles that he's doing, but it's like there was a game I watched one time. The Patriots had it won. It was like the final 2 minutes of the game. And Bill Belichick did some weird thing. And Tony Romo goes, you know why he's doing that?
Whoa.
He's doing that to throw off the analytics of what he does at the end of the game because he knows this game is won. So he's trying to throw this fly in the ointment to get you off the scent. That shit that he does when he does a press conference, and he's just like, yeah, oh, they're good, you know? And everybody thinks he's boring. He's not going to give you any bulletin board material. This guy is like on so many levels competing. And what makes him the greatest is no one caught him for 2 straight decades. He won 6 Super Bowls when there's 32 fucking teams. Continue to be successful. Went to 9 fucking Super Bowls in 20 years.
Wow.
I mean, the resume speaks for itself. And he stayed.
As a head coach, right?
Yeah, and he stayed and then won 2 others when he was an underdog. And they weren't supposed to win. And their defense shut them down. And it's the defensive genius of him. I think that's why he's the greatest of all time. Now, obviously, I can't break down the X's and O's of what that guy's doing. I just know that he just continued to – it's like a great comic that never stops writing. It's like you're not going to run him down, you know? And then you see the other ones that get their following. They stop going down to the store. You know, they just do their weekend gigs, and then they sit in their house in the hills.
Yeah.
They slow down. And then people run them down, and then all of a sudden they show up at the store one night to put their stink on the place again. They haven't been there in 4 or 5 years, and it's like they're still playing grunge music, and everybody's like moved on. And I would say that that's the number one thing that made him what he was that the continue the evolution of what he was doing. It was like, it's not like, okay, this guy's been in the league head coaching for 6 years. We know what he does. It's just like, what the fuck is he doing now? I think that's why they had so many fucking cases. All these fucking people bitch, moaning, and complaining. Because what were they going to do? Beat the guy?
Yeah, right. And that's like when they talk about Buddy Ryan recreating the defense, right? That was him that did the
that 46 defense.
46.
What do you think after they did that in the NFL? What do you think every defensive coordinator was doing halfway through that season? Halfway through that season, they're breaking down, what the fuck is this? What are they doing? How does this work? And then also they win the Super Bowl, and what happens? All their assistant coaches and shit get picked up by other teams, and then they sit down. So what the fuck were they doing there? How did they do it? And they just break it down. So what happens is your unique thing then goes into the mainstream, and it becomes like hacky. It's like Richard Pryor doing those white guy, black guy routines. By the time 20 years goes by and it gets to Def Jam by those last couple of seasons, I mean, it literally was down to, you ever see a white guy sitting in a chair, you know?
Do you think there's the same proportion of hacks in comedy that there are head coaches in football?
Well, I mean, that's out of my world, but I would imagine. But I would equate to what he did. Belichick, what he did is like a band putting out killer albums for 20 straight years.
Beastie Boys.
There's very few that did that. The Rolling Stones did it.
Rolling Stones.
AC/DC did it. Some people would argue, but I'd say AC/DC did. There's very few. And then what ends up happening is a lot of people, once they get those first 2-3 albums out, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing more of the same. It's
I got asked a question that I'm curious to hear your answer. I was talking with a Good One podcast over, I think it's at Vulture. I'm not certain, but they said, how do you avoid, and this is a better question for you as opposed to me. How do you avoid not ending up in an echo chamber and just performing to your fans and making sure that you're still doing what got you to the dance in the first place by way of converting fans and getting strangers to like what you
Pop-ins.
Pop-ins?
Pop in, go do an alt show, do a gay show, do the Uptown show. That's what does it. You get outside of your fan base. If it's a thing for like battered women, that's a great night for me to go up. You know what I mean? If it's some like super progressive thing,
yeah,
that'd be fun. And if I lived in a red state, if it was some Trump rally type of deal, that would be a great one for me to go up on. Because I sort of have this thing where Trump people think I'm a Biden guy and Biden people think I'm a Trump guy. And what it really is, I'm just a contrarian and I'm an asshole. So I just argue the other side like a dick. So, but I also think the game within the game is you pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you see a skill set that another comic has doing characters or acting stuff out or
love that you're saying this.
Or just standing there, just telling the jokes, being funny, and you don't have that in your act, that's something to work on. It's like hoop. It's just like I can't go to my left. So how do you get better at going to your left? You go to your left. So, if you want to like expand ideas, there's tricks to doing that. But it's like if you continue to push yourself to get better and better and better, I think that's the only way that you can try to stay relevant, and you don't become like. Some guys, when you see them come on stage, you can tell what year they made it. Yeah. Like, do you remember like when we were coming up, you saw those Star Search guys, those Evening at the Improv guys, they were like stuck in time, still had the sport coat with the sleeves rolled up a little bit. You saw them trying to do the grunge thing, but couldn't really do that. Or you saw like the catchphrase guys, they went away.
Oof. All right. This podcast is brought to you by Thompson Cigar. Look, whether you're working from home or just kicking back after a week of being essential, there's no better way to relax than with a premium cigar. Right, Bill?
Oh, absolutely.
And Thompson Cigar Company has the best deals and selections to keep you occupied for hours on end. With over a century in the business, these guys really know their stuff. They've got the best prices on the biggest brands in the business, from Magnundo to Monte Cristo. They have the largest selection of samplers online, with the option to build your own every day in Thompson's 5-pack Fever program, including over 300 different 5-pack options to mix and match. Looking to try something new, rare, top-rated blends, but don't want to splurge on the box? Bingo, that's your boy right here. Check out Thompson's Cigar Tour, a smattering of 5 different blends delivered to your doorstep each month. That's really nice to really get a sampling delivered to you and really find out new blends. I love that.
I'm big on the samplers.
I'm real big on the samplers. They also send out insane cigar deals via email daily with personalized emails, preference options, so you can sign up and receive them all or just the days you feel like reading emails. Thompson Cigar Company continues to be the #1 choice for premium cigars in the USA because they deliver the very best customer service experience. I love the La Gloria Cubana. That is my favorite cigar, and Thompson has them on their site. They are the best. I mean, that is the first cigar where I said, I think I'm falling in love with cigars. Try them out. The Series R.
I got to try that one.
Oh, I love it, especially the darker blend. I had one of the samples they sent me. The customer service is fantastic. So sit back, take a break from all the craziness with a cigar. I may smoke a cigar tonight. I've been getting over this cough. But try with a cigar from Thompson Cigar Companies. These guys rarely do offers, but now Thompson is offering our listeners 15% off orders over $75 or 20% off orders over $99. To take advantage of these incredible savings, simply go to thompsoncigar.com and use the promo code BillBurt when you're ready to check out. That website is Thompson, THOMPSON, cigar.com, and use the promo code BillBurt.
All right, it's Blue Nile, everybody. Are you looking for a gift that sparkles this holiday season? Well, you're in control on BlueNile.com. Is it time to mark a special occasion? From engagement to anniversaries and birthdays, you need a trusted, no pressure online jeweler to help you craft the perfect piece. Build the engagement ring of her dreams. It's always about her dreams, Bert.
It's always
Never about the guys. Never settle. At BlueNile.com, choose from more than 100,000 ethically sourced GIA-graded diamonds in every shape and size, with an endless selection of settings to help you design the ring of her dreams. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, clarity, as well as setting style. Nile's bench jewelers will then build your perfect engagement ring. Guy coming off the bench can build a perfect engagement ring. That's how badass the company is. Each is one of a kind. Or celebrate life's special moments with fine jewelry. Blue Nile is now offering an exclusive selection of Lightbox lab-grown diamond fashion jewelry. What, they can grow diamonds now?
This is crazy.
This is like man-made salmon. This is crazy.
No more blood diamonds, baby.
They just make them in a light box. I got to get a light box, dude. This premium product was released just in time for the holiday. Why don't we get a light box? We'll just start cooking diamonds.
What are you cooking in your garden? Diamonds. I make diamonds,
baby. And make some memorable gift. Oh, my God. If you could just put a little piece of coal, some shit from your grill. You stick it in a light box. And there's your special engagement ring. It's got your big dumb face right on it, sweetheart. All right, while you're smoking a pork shoulder. All right, Blue Nile's Lightbox lab-grown collection includes new and exclusive styles of earrings, pendants, bracelets, and rings, accessibly priced and set in 14-karat gold. Give the gift of premium lab-grown diamond fashion jewelry. I have to look this up. Lightbox lab-grown diamond fashion jewelry is priced as just $800 per carat. That's roughly 1/5 of the cost of natural diamond jewelry at the same quality. And guess what? She doesn't have to know, does she? Legendary service. Expert advice, 24/7 legendary service with the 30-day returns. When you commit to a piece, so does Blue Nile. Guaranteed service and repair for life. Not perfect, no problem. 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop stress-free with guaranteed free shipping and returns. Need your special purchase fast? In most cases, Blue Nile can deliver overnight. I got to shut her up. Get it here quick. Every order is insured and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So celebrate your love and life's special moments with jewelry from BlueNile.com at BillBert, BillBert. Listeners get $50 to $500 off. This podcast exclusive is only good through December and includes engagement. Use code BillBert. That's code BillBert. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to Blue Nile, NILE.com today.
All right. Support for Bill Burt is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped is taking over the world, and it's now available in Europe, Canada, UK, and Australia. The world's about to get a lot less hairy. I wonder if never mind. I'm going to keep reading the copy. That's right, folks. I was about to make a joke, then I was like, I bet they probably don't want that in their copy. You can now purchase Manscaped products all over. If you haven't had access to Manscaped thus far, you've gone years without using the right tools for the job. I have a joke about Manscaped in my new hour, and I love going into this copy I'm doing this copy in my set right now. The world's
My balls have never been smoother.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I have a joke literally about me shaving my asshole on vacation with my wife, and I'm talking about the Lawnmower 3.0 electric trimmer. This is the greatest. I literally say this is the greatest.
There's a vision I'll never get out of my head.
This is the greatest ball hair trimmer on the planet Earth, according to Joe Rogan, and that guy is never wrong, except for actually he's been always right about me with losing weight and any bet we've ever made. So yeah, he's never wrong. Their third generation trimmer features cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, to keep your nuts smooth like a baby's butt. What? Have you ever tried the Weed Whacker for your nose and ear hair trimmer yet, Bill? If you haven't, you should, because you can now keep your nose and ear hair looking as nice as your clean-shaven pubes. 79% of partners polled admitted to that long nose hair is a major turnoff. It is. When you see one sticking out of someone's face, oh, it's fucking gross.
I don't even have feelings for men, and whenever I see it, I'm like, I'd never bang that guy.
There are dudes that I've seen that I wish I could just break into their hotel room and shave their ears and nose hairs. You're like, how do you not see that?
I remember meeting somebody pretty big in this business, and they had like enough nose hair I could probably do a couple of chin-ups. My shoulders were messed up. And I immediately looked down to see, does this guy have a wedding ring? And he did. And she doesn't say anything, and I was immediately like, this guy beats his wife. Go ahead.
My wife, both of these flagship items come inside the Manscaped Performance Package, along with their other quality products like their authentic athletic boxer briefs. If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean so you can be prepared for all times. At all times. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/BillBert. Manscaped is my new best friend. Do it now. Trust me, your balls will thank you. Your nose will thank you. Your ears will thank you. Your partner will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/BillBert. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com/BillBert. Your balls will thank you.
Yeah. Have your undercarriage porno ready.
Yep.
All right. Helix, everybody. Not being able to sleep because of today's politics, an annoying coworker, smartphone fatigue, you buried a body in your backyard, but you didn't do it deep enough. Just seeing if you guys are listening. Helix Sleep makes personalized mattresses made right here in America and shipped straight to your door with free, no-contact delivery, free returns, and a 100-night sleep trial. Gross. To choose a mattress, Helix made a quiz that just takes 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. If you like your mattress that's really soft or firm, you sleep on your side or your back or your stomach, you sleep really hot. With Helix, there's a specific, I always picture somebody just going like snoring. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, there was a weakness associated to sleeping on your stomach. My uncles would go, "Hey Bert, you sleep on your stomach?" And I go, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, that's what we thought." I never understood that.
They thought you were a bottom. That's what they thought. And now that you shave your asshole, they probably think it even more so. Anyways, with Helix, there's a specific mattress for each and everybody's unique taste. Their quiz will match you with the correct model Helix mattress, soft, medium, or firm. Just like the tires in Formula One. And I sleep on what do I sleep? I sleep on my back or on my side. When I'm sad, I sleep on my side so my wife can't see me crying. I love Helix. I love Helix because when I softly cry to myself at night, my wife can't feel the mattress shaking on her side of the bed, so I don't have to go through, "No, what's wrong? Tell me about it." I can just keep it in and take it out on the family pets tomorrow. I love Helix, but you don't need to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ, Wired Magazine, and my favorite name of a magazine ever, Apartment Therapy. I'm going to read that. Just go to helixsleep.com/BillBert, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights, risk-free. They'll even pick it up and give you a full refund if you don't love it. but you will. Right now, Helix is offering up to $200 off mattress orders for our listeners. Get up to $200 off at helixsleep.com/BillBert. BILLBERT. I remember those guys.
I remember a guy coming to the Boston Comedy Club. I won't say his name, obviously. And he had the fake smile, struck the stage look, like no one had that at Boston. At Boston, it was like back against the wall, arm on the thing. Here we go. All right. Like cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. And he was like, so, hey, walking down I was hanging out with my girlfriend. Like, it was just the idea of presenting a premise. Like, what's up with that? Like, and I remember just being like, that's who does, like, did that work at one point? Like, it was so like deer in headlights. And then you just watch someone else go on stage. And it was funny because moving to LA, did you feel like when you moved to LA, there was a veneer of phoniness that you had to present on stage somewhat? Like, you had to go like, I remember being like, don't talk to the audience. What are you talking about? That's all you do in New York. You get up, start with the audience, run into your material. It's natural, it's fluid. And in LA, I remember they were like, don't talk to the audience. And I was like, whoa, okay.
I remember coming out and thinking the stand-up was horrible out here. And a wave of depression hitting me going, what did I do? Because I'd lived out here before and I was like, I promised myself I would never come back. And I came out here in 2007 and the store was at the end of that dark period. And, but it was still, sort of the joke thief period, the half-filled crowd, and people weren't getting the reps and shit. And it was, I had I remember standing in the back hallway and I had a panic attack. And then I saw Al Madrigal for the first time. I went like, okay, that guy's good. All right. So that guy's good. Thank God. So then what I did was I just got into this mindset of like, all right, well, I can't go down to where this is right now. That sounds crazy to say about the Comedy Store because the level is so high. This is like Joe Rogan wasn't there. He was kicked out because of that bullshit. So it was like, there was a vacuum. And I was just like, and I remember hearing the piano brought me back to the late 90s when I went out there and Mitzi didn't pass me. And it was just a bad time. And I kind of had to fight through all of that, go up there. And I just was like, I'm just going to fucking do what I do, try to come up here and fucking rip, establish myself out here in LA that this guy's a funny guy and we're not making a mistake putting him on this lineup. And then the more I went down there, the more I was able to not be looking at the whole thing at once and be, oh, there's another funny person. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I think a lot of it was my panic of, did I really fucking move all the way across this country again? I think a lot of it was that. But when Rogan came back, that was huge. And then, the booking changed, the booker being changed.
What were the bookings like? I've never worked there when the previous booker worked there. Were the bookings, it seems like they were somewhat unfair, or was it not insightful?
Well, I mean, there was this fear that, I'm not going to talk about people, but that a certain comic was going to show up and you couldn't even do your fucking act. And I just remember thinking like, how did it get like this? Everybody hates this. Why is everybody at the mercy of this guy? And why is this business 100% behind this? It was fucking nuts.
Agents and managers.
It was fucking nuts. And then Rogan came back and it was like the lights were brighter, just his energy. And then all of a sudden, like, some newer guys started coming around. I remember the excitement when D'Elia came around. It was like he just was a legit force of nature on stage. And you were like, you know, I was like, fuck, man. The booker at the time, I was just like, why do you keep putting me on after this fucking guy? And he was like, because I know you can follow him. It's like, dude, I'm trying to work on my act here.
Yeah.
This guy's coming down. There's like fireworks going off. What am I supposed to do here? But I caught myself. I was like, no, Bill, don't be the older comic that resents the new funny guy. It's just like, root for this person. It was just, you know, as much as that was cool, probably for him, it was better for my psyche to not do that, because I think that that's the thing that older comics do. The younger comics come in and like, oh, you know, that isn't comedy. This should be do it this way. Don't talk to the crowd. And I'm not coming down here. I got my following, and then you're done.
And then you're done.
Then you're done. You're done as far as like you are relevant as long as your fan base is still alive. And it's like they're gonna fucking have kids. You know, they're gonna have jobs, lose jobs. They're gonna get divorced. I mean, to try to hold on to just, it's like holding on to water.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good analogy. Yeah. I said to them, now, I'm curious what your thoughts are, but I said, and my answer was, the same way that you parent a child and then set them off into the world and hope that you gave them a skill set to deal with how the world operates, and you can't helicopter parent at that time. I think that's how formative young stand-up is. When you're young, the values that you're set, that what you appreciate, like what I appreciated as a young comic was originality. Like, I know I'm talking to you right now, but like it's hard to say as a friend of mine, or as a friend, but like, you were the one that changed the way I saw the future of this business as a entertainer, as just a dude who does comedy. Because I remember watching, and I've told you this, but that bit you did the act out of talking to the kid. You had the 2 adopted kids, and you did the act out. And I'd never seen you do an act out. I'd seen you get away from act outs, like at a period of time. And then to go back to it, I was like, oh shit, you can do anything on stage. You can like add stuff to your act. You don't have to like be this guy and then this is your lane and that's the thing you do. You can branch out. I remember hearing that bit. I was right there on the treadmill watching it right fucking there on my TV. And I was like, oh fuck. Like, you got to keep growing. And I think if you establish those things as a young comic, and those are your pillars of like trust that what you think is funny. Don't lean into what the industry wants you to do. Make your things, and then follow the guidance of great comics. I was like, then that, when you get a fan base, you can just stick in with those values, and you can keep growing. And obviously doing sets. I think doing sets is probably number one, but I'm curious to why. I'm curious, you know, as I get older in this business, as to why guys like you and Gaffigan and Rogan and a lot more that I'm leaving out, you know, but why how you've been able to maintain when so many haven't, you know, like been able to like keep growing an audience, you know?
Just luck, dude.
Do you feel
everybody's
like that?
working hard? Yeah, no, there's so much fucking luck. There's so much luck, and there's so many people that I see where I've done, if they just fucking adjusted a couple little attitude things, it would change their world. Like you know, I was such a pessimist and negative person when I was younger. I just grew up with it, so I didn't even realize I had it. It just felt like, but like once I changed my mindset to go into things, like if there's 4 people here or 400, I'm fucking murdering these people. If I have 4 lines or I'm on this whole shoot, I'm fucking bringing it every day. Once you get into that mindset of like, not like an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm going to throw myself into this thing, and I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to have a good time doing it. And then people will see that. so they'll enjoy it, or they'll enjoy working with you. They'll want to work with you. And as long as you do that and you don't think that everything is about you, I think people, you know what's funny is it doesn't take much to be labeled a good guy.
It really doesn't.
I swear to God, dude, if you just show common courtesy,
Yeah.
people just, oh, he is so nice. I remember one time I did yet another failed pilot. I think I've told this story before. I mean, walking from I think we broke for lunch. There's this wardrobe woman, and she's carrying a bunch of shit, and she dropped a pen. She's like, I got it. You know, she's carrying all this shit. I'm not carrying anything. She dropped a pen. I took 0.8 seconds of my life to stop and pick the pen up and give it to her. And she told 900 people I was the greatest guy ever because I did that.
Yeah.
You know why that is? It's because the level of fucking asshole that she's worked with.
Yeah.
That's all that's how many assholes are out there. That's all I had to do. That would be like to get my black belt. I just had to go, hi-ya. Ooh. That was impressive. That was a real karate chop in your own palm. Here's your black belt. I'm telling you, if you're just, I don't know. And I watch, I'll tell you the death knell is so many fucking people because they're so stupid. They don't think people notice. Those fucking people that treat, did we talk about this last week? Those people that treat you by what level you're on.
No, we did not talk about this last week.
Okay.
But
those are the dumbest fucking people as far as do they think people don't notice? Because this business, it's like a mixing board.
Oh, yeah.
One day somebody's here and you're here looking at them. And then 6 months later, all of a sudden you went up here and they went down here. That you just treat people nicely. But there's these people out there that will literally, the second they go past you, stop returning phone calls or stop returning your texts, stop saying hi to you. All of a sudden you feel like them talking to you is a chore.
Yeah.
And I always just do that mental note. I'm like, oh, wow. You're that guy? You're one of those people? All right. I got it. Dude, I have all those little lock the door tests. There was a person one time, right? We were in a comedy club. Let's keep this real vague. There's a bunch of people sitting in the back room of a comedy club, like a festival almost, Bert. So I was sitting there, and I'm on this sort of like an L-shaped style couch, and it was so jam-packed that this comic comes in, and the place was packed. She wanted to get around everybody, so she climbed up and walked along the couch, which is fine. But there was a full, 3/4 of a bottle of water there, and when she stepped into the cushion, it caused it to tip over, and she saw it, and she was like, oh, shit, oh, my bad. And I kind of went like that, and then she kept going. So I was thinking all right, is she going into the bathroom to get some paper towels, toilet paper to help clean it? Nothing. Went across the room and continued the conversation. And I was like, I'm done with that person. That is the fucking tip of the iceberg of your selfish fucking behavior. And I don't want to see what's under the waterline. So that person, since then, people like that, I just, hey,
yeah,
there you are. I just do that. And it's I'm not going to be a dick, but it's just I'm not, I would never get myself into a position with a person like that where I was depending on them to not be that person that did that.
Oh, that's who they're going to be.
Yeah.
It's the old, you knew I was a snake. You knew I was a scorpion. The scorpion's going to needs to ride across from the frog. Halfway through, he just stiffs the frog in the back. He goes, why would you do that? He's like, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's like self-sabotage. Yeah.
I know I've talked about this, but I was very lucky enough. I was very, very lucky in that, and I didn't consider it luck at the time, but in getting let go from Travel Channel and getting kind of pulled off of the Oddball tour for whatever reason because dates weren't selling or whatever, and then going back to clubs.
I would say that's the reason.
No, I
Well, I don't know what it was. Like they were trying to make money and they weren't.
no. But I had noted all the dates I was on for whatever reason got canceled, and I was just hosting. I wasn't like I was not a part of the bill. I was just like doing
Heck,
5
I
minutes.
wasn't blaming you. I was just joking.
My point is, all that going away, there was a moment I had, like a 2-year moment, where I was the person that those people would look past. And you got to real quick figure out who those people were. And it was really eye-opening was when, when I started to sell tickets, how quickly their eyes shift back to you and they want things from you. And you're like, wow, I didn't know it would happen like that. Like, I didn't know
But
that.
you did because you heard the stories. But when it actually happens, you feel like you're in a bad movie about show business. Like when you see somebody who makes it and then all of a sudden starts treating people like shit. That's the one you're just like, oh my God. Sometimes you see it coming. There's a few people where you're just like, this person is a fucking lunatic at this level. God help. God help somebody if somebody gives this person a show and it's a fucking hit. Holy shit. There is going to be some stories. But then there's other people where they hide that whole thing. And then all of a sudden they get that thing and it was just like, what the fuck?
I watched someone do that to someone when I was a very young comic. I watched someone light someone up. And they made a little success for themselves and were kind of a little bit of a star. And all someone said was, congratulations. That's it. And this person was like, fuck you. You wish you had gotten on my train. You wish you had gotten on my train. You never gave me spots. And you know what? Suck my dick. I don't need you now. I never needed you. And I was like,
bad move.
You could have also just said, thank you.
Bad move.
Dude, I swear to God, I'm writing, as a joke, I'm writing this like self-help book just for myself with like the stupid things I think of like how my brain works. And one of the things is it's a lyric from Judith by what was it? Maynard
Perfect Circle.
Perfect Circle. A lyric from the song's Judith on Perfect Circle is, you're such an inspiration for a way that I never want to be. And it's like, I remember looking at people and going, note to self, that person just did that. And I saw it from the outside. I was like, nope, write that down. Never tell off anyone who you don't like, who just says congratulations.
In defense of that person, everybody wants to do that.
Everyone.
But when the moment comes, you don't do it. You just say thank you. I have so many people that I wanted to do that to, and now they're great friends of mine. So many club owners, because, in my world, it's like, I'm so ready. I should be. How could, and then you like take it personally. And it's just like, maybe he didn't see it. Maybe you suck. Maybe you weren't ready. God forbid it's on you, Bill. And it's just like, there was so many, not so many, but there was like probably like 4 to 6 people, which is a lot. That's a lot of mental energy. To be like, someday, man, I'm going to get in the fucking chuckle place, and then he's going to want me there, and I'm be like, fuck you, man, I ain't doing that shit. And then it's just like, or I could take the gig, I could go in there and fucking rip, and I'll have another place to perform at. And then what happens is, you're selling tickets, your relationship changes. A lot of those club owners have to be standoffish.
Yeah.
Because they got all these comics coming out. Like, you ever see the meerkats when there's like a cobra? And they try to act like they're this one big, and they're all like lunging toward. Like, that's what they're dealing with. So they have to have a certain level of aloofness to just get to the back office without, having a stack of VHS tapes, whatever the fucking kids do nowadays. But so I've learned there's a balance of like not taking shit personally, but then also seeing somebody spill a water bottle and not clean it up or give a fuck. Yeah. You gotta have to have like, all right, I don't know. It's a weird sort of.
It's funny you watch Norm Macdonald go through a place like the Comedy Store, and he's so generous and authentic to everyone. Takes a minute, makes eye contact. Hey, And like, you know, you can't tell if he's busting your balls or not. You can't tell with Norm. Like I remember when, you know, when his show got in trouble. Maybe when his show got in trouble, I sent him a message. You know, whatever he said. Who knows what he said? But I sent him a message and I didn't even say a message. I just put something on Twitter, and then he direct messaged me. He was like, "Hey, I really appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, see a message like that, it means a lot. Thank you so much." And I was like, "Nice." I remember screen grabbed it, sent it to Rogan and Tom and Ari, and I was like, "Just got blown up from Norm Macdonald." And as I sent it, Norm's next one was, "I hear you're a very funny comic. I hope I get to meet you one time." And I was like, "I've met him 4 times." but you can never tell with Norm if he's busting your balls or like he's just a pure comic. But he's always been very, very generous and nice and sweet. Every time I ever run into him, and you're like, that's why people want him to succeed. Like I want him to succeed always in everything he does because he just is not a dick. You know, Spade, not a dick. And Spade has this, like, whatever, you know, like, ball buster attitude from, like, you know, SNL or whatever.
No, Spade's the
sweetest
best
fucking guy in the world. The sweetest.
Totally all the stuff he's done, too, he's totally self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've been around those real assholes, and I've seen them blow up in it. And it's so funny, when I was younger, I remember thinking, if I just had a little more of that squeaky wheel energy, you know, like that energy that, why not me? Like, how come, fuck this guy, get me in front of him. Like, hey, I wish I could. I have never been the guy that comes up and is like, Adam, I got to be out of here in 5. You either put me up now or I'm fucking not calling in Vails next week. And you're like, I would love to be that guy. I'm the guy in the back that's like, no, he's got a newborn. My kids are older. They're sleeping. I get it. Go ahead. No, it's not a problem. No. Look, if you're chasing pussy leaves at 11:30. I get it. Go ahead. I'm already out. My night's a shot. I don't mind. Like, I've always been the guy going. I remember one time a guy came in and, you know, that did extra time, that would come in and be like, I'm jumping on now, and and he would do an hour, right? My age, regular, like good comic, but he had that privilege that he could do an hour. And I remember just being like, not being an asshole, just going like, here, do you think you'll do an hour? And he was like, hey man, like, if I get up there and I'm feeling it, maybe. And I was like, okay, I just want to know, because I'll just go home. Like, I've got drop off in the morning. I have no problems if I can get in a cold beer right now, get in the car, fucking going home, and getting a good night's sleep. But it was interesting, the energy around that, that at the time. I've never been that guy. I would love.
I think that is a bad move. I think if you have a stand-up special coming out, and I have to do this, but then I would apologize profusely to anybody.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would schedule the time, but just in general, to go down and burn the light, you are pissing off the generation of comics behind you, and they're gonna pass you. This business is based on youth and newness. They're gonna go past you. So then when the time comes for you to play their uncle or their dad on the sitcom, they'll be like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He should fucking come in, lean on the mic stand for a fucking hour and bump me. Fuck that cocksucker. Or you could just,
it doesn't happen as much.
You could pop in and you do your 15, you get in, you get out. Because the thing about it is when I was a young comic way back in the day, if somebody popped in and they were a big comic, I was psyched because I wanted to watch them. But after like 15, 20 minutes, then it's also like I still want to be able to do my spot. So I feel like if you pop in, you know, you don't bring the show down, you're still doing your thing, you try out your new shit in the middle, the Seinfeld way of doing it, and then close them with the big money, you get the fuck out of there. People are like, they're not bummed that their night got pushed back 15 minutes. They're psyched that they got to see somebody, hopefully, that they like. And because I remember seeing that, like, you know, when I was living with Bobby, be like, oh man, you know, Chris Rock popped in. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
You want to see it. You want to see it. And then be like, how much time you doing? He was another guy. He wasn't a guy that ever like went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Like he like had done the work at home and now was coming to try it out. And so you were learning.
Rock is a really interesting guy to watch. Chris Rock is, I wish he was more approachable from guys at my level, meaning like I would love to get that guy on the podcast and talk about his process, because his process is really fascinating in that he does all the work at home, and then when he takes it on there, he pulls all the fucking razzle dazzle out of his act to find out what's funny, knowing full well, oh, I can punch this up in a theater and destroy. It's almost like he's running with a weighted vest on. Is that how you?
Yeah, that's a style that people. Someone was telling me, what's his face? Johnny Carson used to do that. It was like, you come up with a new joke. He goes, you just stand there, don't even move, deliver it monotone. If it gets it laugh, that means it's funny. I mean, you can take it to like extremes. But have you watched Chris on Fargo yet?
No.
I watched the first 2 episodes. As a parent, it's a little hard to watch because of this sort of exchange thing that's going on. But like, it's the best acting I've seen Chris do, and it's really like interesting, Prohibition era.
Okay, here's the question then. So like I talked about your set, your bit with the 2 kids, and how that kind of shifted the way. Chris Rock, his Bring the Pain was like a life-defining moment for me of going, oh my God, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. Like that special was like, I've liked comedy my whole life, but that is what I want to do. That is the job. And the other one I'll say, and get yours ready because I'm coming to you. The other one I've got to say is, and there are more than just this, but Kevin Hart doing Cedric and Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam. That was one of the best sets I've ever seen in stand-up comedy, because everyone went on before him was playing to the culture of the crowd, meaning like where the real thugs at, where the real pimps at, who got their hair done today, like who's sipping a little syrup tonight, huh? Like, and then he walked up and said,
I love that you kept going those examples like I didn't get it the first time.
Yeah. He walked up, and I'm sure I'm glazing over. I'm sure he said something probably to get over with the crowd, but I remember him just going up and going, I have 2 children. And I remember going, oh my God, I bet there's a large group of people in here that have children also. He is also playing to, like, he doesn't need to go to what the obvious is. He just is going to what, hey man, this is who I am. This is my joke. This is my act. And it's and it was so funny that I literally I remember, and all 3 of those just repositioning and going, hold on. Like, fuck, man, you can just do your act sometimes. Like, you don't need to pander to the room. You can just go up and go, my material speaks for itself, and work on the material. So those are my 3 that I just brought up of like.
Oh, that's a skill set is, as a comic, is being able to recognize those things, or whatever it is you do for a living, recognizing when you're seeing somebody showing you something, even though they're just doing what they do, but you can just learn by like watching somebody.
What are your sets where you kind of shifted your perspective and you're like, well, fuck, man, I had been doing it. I haven't seen it that way. Or like, what was the set you saw where you're like, that's where I want to be going? Like,
I mean, my whole career, I can name them almost in order. I saw Frank Santarelli at the old Comedy Connection on Warrington Street. I saw him go up, and the host, they played this silly music, and the host was dancing, so he came up and danced with her with a really serious look on her face. It looked like a fucking music video, and it kind of just got the crowd into his vibe, and he just fucking murdered. I saw David Feldman there a few weeks later, and he had this whole hour was based on where he just kept going. And once elected your Führer, he just kept referring to Adolf. And his jokes were just so amazing. Showed me a whole new level of joke writing. Then there was, I saw Brian Regan. These are all the Boston sets. Brian Regan came in, and I remember all the comics were rushing through their sets to all from all parts of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, drive down to catch his late set at Nick's Comedy Stop, and just watching him like that is murdering, and that is a superstar. And then I would say I saw Chris Tucker when I was hanging with Patrice. Unknown Chris Tucker before Fridays came out. I saw him Sunday night at the Boston. Was life-changing as far as just how free he was. Joe Rogan, Aspen Comedy Festival. Just wire-to-wire fucking murdering, and the power of what he was doing. Who else? Oh, there was a bunch, and I went back. And then there was the one night I always talk about when there was like 3 people in the crowd down at the Comedy Cellar, and I got to see Daryl Hammond, Gary Valentine.
Oh, Gary Valentine!
I saw like 3 people all go up, and in different ways. It was like a 2-top and a 1. And they all, and I think it might have been Lewis Black, and they all just handled it differently. I must have told this story.
No.
Daryl Hammond walked up. They go, please welcome Daryl Hammond. And it's literally, and he walked up and he stood there, looked at the 2-top, and then looked at the one person there, and then just threw his head back and went like, and then he did his first joke. And it killed, but it was only 3 people laughing. And after their laughs, he just looked at them both and went, and he just kept doing that. So that became the thing, was his jokes were great, and he was killing, but in between the jokes, the people were laughing, looking at each other, knowing that no matter how much they laughed, he was going to fake cry after each one of them. And how sad and miserable he was while making them laugh. It was fucking hilarious. And then he brought up Gary Valentine. Gary Valentine went the opposite way. He acted like those 3 people were 3,000. And he was in such like a you know him, just that fun, silly energy. And he did the bit, that when you get all the way down with the deodorant, when it's just down to the plastic, but you still do it anyways. And I just remember him just full on, just went like, ah! Like screamed the top of his lungs. They were dying. And then I think it was Lewis Black went up. It was the middle of the summer, and it was hot as fucking hell. And his hair was, the curly hair, but it was like sweated down here. Yeah. And he had the sport coat and the tie, looking like he looked like a teacher that was going to shoot his class up. And he just went up there, and he just started talking. He was leaning against the wall, and he just started talking, and he got that finger going. And I'd never seen him. And he was just talking about how fucking hot and miserable it was taking the sun. I don't remember what he said. And it was just like, yeah, I just watched these 3 comics murder 3 people. And I was sitting in the back like, I was just hanging out. I wasn't even past at the cellar. I was just hanging out in the back watching them. And I remember leaving there fantasizing that I did it and wishing that I knew how to do that. And I can't wait to get into these New York clubs so I could be the guy going up in front of 3 people and being able to handle that. Because I came from the Boston scene where, there were paper in the room every night, and there'd be 400 people. And you'd be in there getting laughs. It sounded like a jet was landing. It was so jam-packed with people. To go down to New York and all of a sudden have to deal with going on stage to this silence was quite an adjustment.
Gary Valentine. I used to work on a TV show with Gary Valentine, and he was like, hey, I'm doing the Ice House. And I was fresh out of New York. I thought I knew everything about comedy. When you leave New York, you're like, I'm started in New York. I've seen the best there is. Gary Valentine murdered. I'd never seen someone murder for an hour like that. That was the big difference. Murdered. I mean, like to the point.
And he looks like he's having the time of his life too.
Yeah.
I opened for him in Vegas, the old Harris when they had the Improv, which I heard just closed. But I worked for him there, and he just fucking murdered all week, and then also was like ridiculously fun to hang out with. Like it didn't stop.
Funnest.
He didn't. He did like that thing where I was sitting there and he was just talking. He goes, "Yeah, but I forgot my sparkly purple pants." And I was like, "What?" And all of a sudden, this guy walked past me with sparkly purple pants. I'm doing like a spit take. He was just doing that dumb shit.
Oh.
Just doing that dumb shit the whole time. I was like, he was so cool. It was like he did a show before the show.
I'll tell you a good Gary Valentine story. This is my favorite Gary. Well, I have a million, but this is a good Gary Valentine story. So we worked on this show, and then on Thursdays we had off. We didn't have to work Fridays. So Thursday night, me, him, Scott Henry, and Mike Burton are all hanging out with the whole cast. They're all comics for people listening. They're the whole cast of the show. We're all partying, and Gary just goes, "Bertsky, let's go to Vegas." And we're like, and I'm like, "Let's go." And we're like, "Scott, you want to go to Vegas?" And he was like, "Let's go." And we said to Mike Burton, "You want to go to Vegas?" And he goes, "I got spots this weekend." We're like, "I fuck your spots. Let's go to Vegas." And he goes, "I can't." And Gary's like, "Come on, Burton. It'll be fun. 4 guys, road trip out tonight. Scott hasn't started drinking. We'll drink the whole ride out. We'll party. We'll gamble. It'll be great." And Burton's like, "I don't want to go." And he's like, "God damn it, Burton. Come on, man." And we're like, no. And Gary goes, "All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back to Santa Monica, get all my shit. You guys get all your shit. I'll meet you with Scott and Mike, try to get Mike to change his mind." And we're like, "We'll try." So going to get my shit, Mike Burton goes, "You know what? Fuck my spots. I'm going to Vegas." And I say, "You know what would be funny? We'll pack my truck and we'll put all the clothes on top, you in the back. And when we're halfway to Vegas, you pop out and surprise Gary and go, 'Ta-da, I'm coming,' and it'll make him lose his mind." And he's like, "You think?" And we're like, "Brilliant." So we get my car, we go over to Scott and Burton's, they get their shit. We cover up Mike Burton with all the luggage. We put the beers next to him. So what we're going to say is, "Hey, Gary, grab a beer from the back." And he's going to turn around, grab a beer, see him, and go, "Hey, you're coming." It'll be a big, great surprise. So we're waiting. I mean, we're waiting like 15 minutes for Gary to pull up. Finally, his car pulls up, opens the door, and he goes, "No Burton?" And we're like, "Nah, he's not going." He gets in, shuts the door, and he goes, "You know what? Fuck that guy." And we're like, "What?" And he goes, "Let me tell you what's wrong with him." And I would never say this to him, but this is what's wrong with him. And I'll say this about his car. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with his car.
Wait a minute. He's in the
we're
back.
like this. We're going like this. And slowly we see Mike Burton sit up out of the back seat and just sit there listening. And Gary's going off, and we can't get a word in edgewise. We haven't even left, Bill. We're still in front of the fucking house. All of a sudden I go, "Hey, Gary, can you grab me a beer?" And he goes, "Sure thing, Bertsky." Turns around, sees Burton, comes back, leans up to the front 2 seats. He goes, "When were you going to tell me he was in the car?" Oh, that fucking, oh, man.
Did Burton laugh?
He did. We started driving. Then him and Gary, I think, talked out whatever the fuck Gary had said, which was just that the truth was Mike Burton.
Bummed that he didn't fucking come along. That's all it is.
And the truth is, and I will say this, Mike Burton is as long as I've ever known that guy, and I don't see him now because I think he's not doing comedy anymore, but like he was the funniest fucking human being you could ever be around. Everything in his life was hilarious. Everything that happened to him was fucking hilarious. Share a story. Like just that story is like the bottom of the barrel of the fucking hilarious stuff. And I think that's what Gary was trying to say was like, he's so fucking funny. And there are guys like that are just the funnest to be around, the fucking funniest. And sometimes for whatever bad habits you get on stage, it doesn't translate. And I think that's what Gary was saying. And anyone would say that to Burton. He was fucking hilarious. But man, Gary Valentine, I remember Gary Valentine introduced me to guacamole. I'd never had guacamole before. I was 27 years old. He's like, "Kevin just got an HD." Kevin James is his brother for anyone listening. Kevin just got an HD television, like fucking 70-inch. Back in the day, this is like 2001, right? And he's like, "We're gonna watch the Jets game or whatever. We're gonna watch the game. Why don't you come out?" So we go over, and I think maybe not everyone knows this, but Kevin is a very quiet, borderline shy dude. He's not a very boisterous dude. He's not a big drinker. He's not like, he's just a pretty like mild-mannered, very friendly, not an asshole. Just doesn't, he's a, you know, he's a regular person. He's not whatever. And so the whole time I'm at his house, I never had guacamole. And I'm losing my mind over guacamole. Like, I've never had it. And I'm fucking freaking out. And I'm killing beers. And I'm like the loudest guy in the fucking room. And you can see Kevin just kind of staring at me like, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, he knew who I was, obviously, but he was like, and at one point that night, all I remember is being drunk as fuck and staring at Kevin. And Kevin said, man, I think you'd have a lot more fun in life if you were me. And I went, Kevin, if you gave me the opportunity to have your success, I would be a fucking blast. He was like, Kevin, Gary Valentine, I would argue, Kevin James is an amazing comedian, but Gary Valentine makes me laugh hard as fucking shit.
I was just going to say the two of them.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of brother comics. There's a few of them out there. Like, that's two of the best.
The two of the best, man. They
might have the belt.
And you know,
Brian and Dennis Regan, Kevin James, Gary Valentine. I'm trying to think who else. Guy and Joe Torre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Waynes. Yeah.
Wayans. I'm an idiot.
Kevin and Neil Brennan. They fucking hate each other.
I will. It's amazing that there's Hatfields and McCoys within the family. It's that's a shame. They'll work it out. So I hope they work it out. I love both of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'll tell you. Last thing I'll say about the I forget their real net last names. The Fitz or something. The Piffs. Their last name is a weird name.
I don't know. You put out a lot of information.
But Kevin James affected the way I spent money, because I remember I got this television show. I was making $5,000 a week, and the first thing I did is I bought the most expensive fucking Expedition Ford made. Like, it was, I dropped coin on it, and I was like, bam. Moved up to a house in the hills, Cecil B. DeMille's old place, 3 stories. I mean, I was living large. I was like, yes. I remember going over to
Never going to end.
It's just, sign me up. Sign me up. But I remember going over to Gary and Kevin's to watch TV, and when they lived, and Kevin is on a sitcom. He's on the King of Queens at the time, and it's a hit. Everyone knows King of Queens. Gary's on my TV show, and I remember going to their apartment, and it was a very modest 2-bedroom apartment in a apartment complex on like in the middle of like Culver City. Like, it wasn't like super fancy. And Kevin was driving probably a 10-year-old Jeep Cherokee. And I remember saying, like, why don't you have a nice car? Like, not realizing that I'm saying that, but saying, like, you have tons of money. How come you don't have the nicest things in the world? And he was like, well, you never know what's going to go away. And I remember being like, what are you talking about? You're the King of Queens. Like, what? Like, I can look in people and find out how much money you're making. You're making a ton of money. And he just was very modest. And that shifted. I remember when everything went away, like, you lose all the money and you start. I remember when I started getting things going, like, what would Kevin buy?
Picturing some guy driving your Exhibition back down the street. You had to sell it to him. You lost like $15,000 on it. I love that thing, man.
Kevin, yeah, I used to think when I get a car, wonder what car Kevin James is driving right now. Elliot Gould was the same way, by the way. Elliot Gould drove a very modest car, and I kept thinking, I remember asking that to Bobcat Goldthwait. I go, what car do you drive? And he was like, why do you ask that? I was like, I don't know. Like, I know you have money, but like, you don't seem like a guy that cares about cars. And he was like, that's a great question. And then we ended up talking about he used to buy vintage cars because that's what he liked more. And his brother was a biker. And
I will tell you, having a nice car is overrated. Having a reliable car, underrated. Overrated, nice car, because now you've limited where you can go. You got to worry about the thing. Where is it going to be? There's going to be people opening the door into it. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But I've never been one to buy. I'll buy a nice car. I won't buy a super expensive.
Yeah. By the way, did you see the picture I sent you on Instagram? I did.
Jay that caddy, that thing.
Yeah, that caddy with Jay. The best part is Jay says, we're doing Jay's Garage. I don't think I'm giving anything away. Jay's Garage is a show. And Jay goes, I think it'd be funny, Bert, is, I give this big, like, this guy was a party animal, and he's doing drive-ins, and, we're going to get him in here the only way acceptable. He's in the trunk. And I was like, you want me to get in the trunk of the car? And he was like, yeah, I'll get you in the trunk.
Well, that's how people used to sneak people into the drive-ins back in the day.
I'm claustrophobic. And he's like, come on, hop in. So they open it, and Bill, this is the first generation, I'm imagining, of the trunk that you don't slam, the trunk that you shut and it goes and vacuum seals itself. And all I'm thinking is that technology is fucking 50 years old. And I'm trusting that this key is going to open it. So I get in the back of the trunk, and I'm not in a position. This isn't my TV show. So I can't be like, hey guys, when I get in the trunk, we just know that I need to get the fuck out of the trunk ASAP. Like I'll do it, but we can't do it. It's not my show. So I get in the trunk and I get, what?
You could have just said, listen, I'm not trying to be a diva. I'm just super claustrophobic. So the whatever time, the second you have the shot, if somebody could let me out of this, I would appreciate it.
I get in the trunk and I realize I haven't really established any ground rules, and I can hear them. So Jay, we want you to get back in the car. You can't shut the door. And I'm just in the back going, someone speed this up. Someone speed this up. So I hear Jay get in the car. I hear Jay come to the back, and he fumbles with the keys a little bit. And I'm like, oh God, please, please, please. I mean, literally, Bill, like 10 seconds feels like a minute and a half. Pops it open. I get out. I'm like, great. So then we get done. The whole interview, it's a great interview. Jay is fucking awesome. He's the sweetest guy in the world. And he's like, all right. And he ended up doing a spot at the Rose Bowl. And we get ready to leave, and the director goes, so we missed you getting out of the trunk. Can I get you back in the trunk? And I'm like, God damn it. So I spent
more time. What you fear, man.
This has been a great podcast. I feel like I talked too much at the end, but this is a great podcast, Bill.
I think I talked too much in the beginning. I let you talk.
No, no, this was awesome, man. All right. Well, I just want you to know that on Tuesday, when everyone's voting, someone is also having a birthday, and it's me. So everyone. Oh,
happy birthday.
My wife was going to have a party, and everyone's like, we're definitely not coming. Like, we have no interest in coming to your backyard at your new house, staying socially distant with no TV there, and not watching the election. And we're like, we'll do it on Thursday. I was like, my birthday's on Tuesday. So I'm sitting by myself on Tuesday night.
On Super Tuesday. Well, happy birthday.
Thanks, Bill.
I'll have to smoke a cigar with you this week. All right, that's it, everybody. We just went down memory lane, talked all kinds of stuff. But I think there was a lot of stuff people maybe could learn there. You treat everybody the same. Like shit. No, you treat them nice. All right. There you go. That's another wonderful episode of the Bill
Bert
Pod.